Imagine dropping a heavy rock into the ocean. It doesn't just sink for a few seconds. It keeps falling and falling for a whole hour before it finally hits the bottom. As it goes down, the sunlight fades away. Soon, it becomes completely pitch black. The water gets freezing cold, just barely above freezing. And the pressure of the water is so heavy, it could crush a car. Up here, near the surface where the sun shines, bugs are small. A normal backyard pill bug is about the size of a fingernail. But if you go all the way to the bottom of the ocean, its cousin, the giant isopod, grows to the size of a football. This happens all over the deep ocean. Normal animals turn into giants. There are sea spiders as big as dinner plates. There are squids with eyes as big as basketballs. And there are long fish that look like giant sea serpents. But why? Why does a place with no sunlight and freezing water create the biggest creatures on Earth? Today, we are going to look at 3 simple reasons why the deep sea breeds monsters. The freezing cold water. The first reason is the temperature. The deep ocean is incredibly cold. There is a basic rule in nature. Animals that live in the freezing cold tend to grow much bigger than animals that live in warm places. Think about a tiny cup of hot cocoa and a giant thermos of hot cocoa. If you put them both outside in the snow, the tiny cup will get cold almost instantly. But the big thermos stays warm for hours. It is the same for animals. A bigger body holds on to heat much better. It protects them from the freezing water. Also, the extreme cold makes their bodies run in slow motion. Their cells grow very slowly, but they live for a very long time. While a surface animal might live for just a few years, deep-sea creatures can live for decades or even centuries. And because they live so long in the cold, they just keep growing. They never seem to stop. The feast or famine trick. The second reason is food. There are no plants at the bottom of the ocean because there is no sunlight. Food is extremely hard to find. Most creatures down there have to eat marine snow, which is just tiny bits of dead fish and organic waste drifting down from the surface. So, you might think, shouldn't you be tiny if food is scarce? That way, you don't need much to eat, right? Nope. Actually, it is the exact opposite. If you are tiny, you can't walk or swim very far. If food doesn't land right on your head, you starve. But if you are a giant, you have a huge advantage. Take a giant squid. It can grow longer than a school bus. It doesn't need to eat every day. It can float quietly in the dark for weeks, saving its energy. But then, a massive dead whale sinks to the bottom of the ocean. This is like winning the lottery for deep-sea creatures. Because the giant creatures are big and strong, they can travel for miles across the dark ocean floor to find it. They can eat massive amounts of food at once and store the fat. That one meal can keep them alive for months or even years. Being big keeps them from starving. No scary predators. The third reason is simple. There is no one around to hunt them. Near the sunny surface, the ocean is full of fast, scary predators like sharks and tuna. If you are a big, slow animal up there, you get spotted and eaten very quickly. You never get the chance to grow into a monster. But at the bottom of the ocean, it is totally dark. Animals like the Japanese spider crab, which has legs that can spread out 12 feet wide, don't have to hide. They don't need to be fast because there are no giant sharks chasing them in the dark. Most of the predators down there are small, blind, or only hunt tiny fish with glowing lights. Once a creature grows past a certain size, nothing else down there is big enough to eat it. Being huge is like wearing an invisible suit of armor. Music gets a bit louder and happier. We have built rockets, we have explored space, and we have climbed the highest mountains on Earth. But we still know almost nothing about the deep ocean. More than 80% of it is completely unexplored. Every time scientists send a camera down to the deepest trenches, they find new creatures. They find animals that looked into the freezing, dark, scary ocean, and instead of hiding, they grew into giants. What deep-sea creature do you think is the coolest? Let me know in the comments below.